Hello everyone, welcome back to IFE News channel. And if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, kindly go ahead and subscribe. Click that bell icon so you don't miss any of our updates. And today we have a very special guest, Mr. Anurag Dixit. He is a renowned Indian celebrity, political and defense analyst. You can follow him on Twitter at Bhutnath to get us regular updates. It is very interesting, trust me. Hello, sir. Welcome to IFE News channel.
Thank you.
How are you?
Everybody knows how things are here. Pretty scary at the moment, but yeah, it's okay. Things can only get better from here.
Just for a small recap, tell us about your past, starting from your school days, and how was your life then and now?
Yeah, sure. I come from a small town called Durg in Chhattisgarh. I did my schooling there. Then I came to Mumbai. I did my graduation and I worked abroad for a few years. And in 2001 mid, I came back to India, and since then I've been here
Okay.
mostly.
And very interesting news about Anurag sir is that about his body transformation from fat to fit. Very inspiring story. Kindly share the story with us, sir.
Yeah, as you can see that I'm like going back to where I started. So uh, things really not have been good in terms of working out or keeping a tab on what you eat,
It is
etc.
very tough to maintain that schedule, right, sir?
Yeah, exactly. So I've gained some weight, but hopefully with Corona, it will go back
Yeah.
to where it was again.
Situation is very stressful also, like coronavirus is there and lockdown situation is going on in India, so it's a little bit tough situation for everyone. uh,
Yeah, that's correct.
yeah, okay. Is there any particular diet you can uh, give us a tips to our viewers,
Actually, it really
the things you
depends on
can follow? Yeah.
it depends on individual to individual. So I would suggest people should keep experimenting and figure out what works for them the best. There is no one magic bullet which will work for everyone. That is what I have basically gathered. I've done it a few times, so
Yeah.
I'm good at losing weight, but I'm not good at maintaining it over a period of time.
Okay.
So yeah, I've done it through different ways. So yeah, I would suggest figure out your own thing.
Only the own
And yeah,
own experience can help us right in this situation.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And you are in the team of Carrying India organization, if I'm
Hmm.
not wrong, helping India to fight against Chinese coronavirus.
Hmm.
So, so maybe our IFE news platform might help that cause you are fighting
Sure.
for. So tell us about this organization and how many people have benefited from this.
So this is not really a formal organization. It's more like a group of people. We don't have any registration. So, it's very loosely bound, if I may say so.
Okay.
But the idea was to basically, get people under one umbrella,
Mm-hmm.
people who could innovate and, create innovative and solutions that were needed, that are needed. And that way, we did come up with a few things. We still are working on a few things which are still in the pipeline.
Okay.
One thing which I could basically, take out from this particular initiative or experience is that, we have immensely talented people here in India. It's just about setting them free, supporting them, unleashing them in a way to basically, get things done. Uh, there's a tremendous scope of basically creating products, not just software, but hardware and anything and everything.
To help
We just
this
need
COVID issue. Okay.
not just this, I would say anything and everything. So this is an example that is in front of us. People, because of this emergency, came together and they sort of started working on things. But it's a very good template to be used for future initiatives. The prime minister has been talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, and that is
Yeah.
about indigenization of both
Self-reliant India.
strategies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we have a very good template here which can be used. So I don't think there is any dearth of talent or skills or know-how. Know-how maybe, but other things we don't have any dearth at the moment. It's just that, if we can enable people to come up with solutions, to come up with enterprises, I'm sure there are many people here who can, very quickly scale up and, get things done in India. One very good example, of course, is, PPE, the protective gear. We were not manufacturing any, almost. It was almost zero here in India, and within a few months, we are the second largest manufacturer of that protective clothing and gear. So
PPP. Yeah.
that's a very good example. Yeah.
Okay, so what is your main goal after some years down the line with this organization?
I don't think, as I said, it is not an organization, it's just a group. So, we're not basically looking at formalizing it, or we're not looking to basically, creating something permanent out of it. But yeah, uh, what everybody takes out of it is, that experience and that confidence. And that is what we would want to basically retain
Okay.
and take it forward in our individual capacities going forward from here.
Yeah. Okay, sir. And your fans and many of us, have this question: are you in active politics?
No, I'm not. I'm not in
You're not
active
in active.
politics, and no, I'm not.
Okay, so either way, we just going to talk about little bit about politics here. So,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on BJP's second term, and also the first term? If you want to go deep into this review of BJP's.
I won't comment on basically what has been done in last 6 years or what has been done in last 1 year in the second term. Uh, you know, Ironically, I would like to quote Mao Zedong here when somebody asked him about, what were his comment on French Revolution, uh, and he said it's too early to comment on it. So
Okay.
I would basically say the same thing. It's too early to comment on it because you know it's not about what was done in last 6 years or last 1 year. It is about what has been destroyed in the previous 10 years before this government came in. And not many people know what happened. Um, Only people who are basically working on those things would know.
Yeah.
But I believe, and this is completely a personal belief of mine, that a lot of strategic initiatives and programs
Okay.
and institutions were almost like destroyed or scuttled to a, a situation where it was very difficult to bring them up again, including defense and national security,
Yes.
etc. So it's going to be very hard to, and it won't be and it would actually be unfair that we expect a miracle to happen in 6 years, 5 years, or 1 year.
Yes. It's a long term process to take place.
Mhm. Right.
Okay, sir. What are your thoughts on Mr. Rahul Gandhi? Maybe the next Prime Minister of India, because Indian politics is not very predictable one. Even we saw in 2004 what happened to a strong leader like Vajpayee, sir. So, what are your thoughts on?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Mm.
hello,
Yeah, my thoughts on Rahul Gandhi, right?
Rahul Gandhi. Yeah.
Well, I don't think I take him seriously enough to basically have any kind of thoughts per se beyond you know what we see, what we hear, and whatever I do are pretty much reactionary in nature, because that is how he has taken his discourse and his party's discourse too. So I don't see any kind of constructive criticism of government coming from him or his party uh, on any issues for that matter. It is I seriously feel that he has taken things very personally, all the ridicule and all the brickbats that he got
Yeah.
because of course, his how he carries himself in public life, as well as how they have performed politically, electorally.
Okay.
So I think the personal grudge has overpowered anything and everything, and that is how, and that is basically that is the primary basis of every reaction, every outburst he has.
Okay.
So yeah, so I would stop there. I won't take him seriously, and I don't think this is a good thing for democracy that the leader of the largest party is purely and completely working on his personal grudges and personal whims, so
Okay.
to speak.
Okay. And we all know that you are very active on social media like Twitter, and we can hear and see there are lots of partiality on Twitter itself, especially towards Indian right-wing accounts. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it is bound to happen. I don't see Twitter as any different from media per se. The only difference is that here the content creators are much larger in number and they're not getting paid. So the level of control which they can have on the narrative is lesser than what they would otherwise have in mainstream media. But with that urge to control the narrative and to shape the narrative is always there, and it will always be there, irrespective of whether it's Twitter or if a new platform comes in. They're always going to be the same. So I won't basically fight that battle. I won't even say that let's all shift to something like what the ultra right wingers in US did, and they moved on to CAF, because it doesn't help, right? You need it, on any platform. You need basically both the sides to make the fight happen, right? Fight for the narrative.
Yeah.
And if there's only one type of people on that platform, uh, then obviously it is going to become an echo chamber and nothing more. So what I would suggest is, we have to live with basically the biases. We have to basically counter the biases in whichever, whatever way, keep on exposing it. But we'll have to, be there and on the platform and fight it out. And there's no alternative to it,
Okay. Okay.
right?
So, yeah. Um, and once you're inside IFE News, it's a must to comment on defense-related topics. So, what do you think about the recent escalation by the Chinese at the LAC with India?
Sure. I've had a couple of very good discussions with friends of mine on this. So one thing which is there is very difficult to basically understand the underlying strategic objectives or tactical objectives which China may have uh, on what they did, but we can only make a guess here. But based on what they have done, it looks like, at least to me, and it's my personal opinion. Of course, I don't get any inputs from any kind of sources
Yeah.
uh, within the system. So my guess is that it is primarily directed towards the
The furthering of the political ambition, do you think?
DSGB road. No, no, I won't. I don't think China has any larger strategic or civilizational goal here that
Okay.
they want to annex
More
uh,
Indian territory because it
more
doesn't
Indian
make sense
territory.
also. Yeah.
Yeah, they do not want to annex more territory. Probably a part of whatever they want to just come inside a few kilometers into Ladakh area, and they just want to make this road uh, incapable of any strategic use. So if you look right from Depsang to Chumar, right,
Yeah.
they have kind of created, like we have spoken about n- uh, necklace of pearls, right,
Yeah.
vis-a-vis BRI and
Yes. Yes.
Indian Ocean. Yeah.
Ends the
So
tip of
similar,
India. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So this is like a mini necklace of sword. So from Depsang to Chumar, they are basically everywhere. They are very close to that road and the river. And why they would want to do it? Because if they make that road uh, incapable of any strategic campaign or program for India, it means that India will never be able to use it for any future
Yeah.
campaign on Gilgit Baltistan or even Aksai Chin for that matter, because they will be always be watching us on top of, from a position which will be much higher than
Dominator. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So that I think is the primary reason. Of course, they would also want to protect Pakistan, because Pakistan is in a pretty bad shape right now. So they would want to basically protect it, because CPEC is not just a commercial investment; it's a strategic investment.
Yeah.
It helps them to reach the warm waters. Otherwise, we all know the geography, how difficult it is for China and especially Chinese Navy to even come this side, right?
Okay.
So that I think is the primary goal. So they would want to basically make it ineffective, make that road ineffective for strategic users. And secondly, they are always in the business of teaching people lessons. So starting from that Home Minister speech
Mm.
uh, to now, I think they just got ticked off, and they want to show India its place, that you don't talk about Aksai Chin, or you don't talk about taking Gilgit Baltistan from Pakistan. We are the boss here, you are not.
Okay. So maybe they have some kind of ill intention to do these intrusions by China.
Yeah, intrusion are obviously ill intentioned.
Yeah.
Most of
Okay. Okay, sir. And so, do you think PM Modi's actions regarding
Mhm.
this LAC issue is fair enough, or is doing better, or you have to do more? What's your thoughts?
I, I I can't basically comment on that. There's hardly much information available in public, and rightly so, because these are not things that should be discussed in public platforms, and that's why I have tweeted yesterday
Mm-hmm.
that I'm completely against this charade of analyzing and dissecting satellite maps on a
Yes.
day-to-day basis on public news,
Mm-hmm.
because it only creates confusion and fear among public. And I'm sure if whatever government is planning, whether it's diplomatic or military, they won't want to basically it to be discussed platform. So that's my take. So I won't even comment on that right now.
Okay. Okay, sir, and you must have known about it. And the Prime Minister of Pakistan, the Imran Khan, Mr. Imran Khan, called the worst terrorist in the history, who is Osama bin Laden, as a martyr, a Shahid. Why is he doing like this? And your thoughts on that? Yeah, yeah,
They specifically,
yeah, yeah.
that specific word
Mm,
which he used, I won't read too much into it, because it's mo- the connotation here is more religious than anything else.
yes,
Uh, but with that being said, uh, it's pretty obvious why would they basically consider him as a martyr. Of course, he lived in Abbottabad for years, and you can't really live next to a cantonment, and
yes,
especially, absolutely, and especially in a country which has a very effective intelligence agency,
yes.
right?
To look after
uh,
their people, especially.
yeah.
Um,
So obviously it was, he was co-opted, he was given sort of an asylum. So it's normal, I would say. It's normal.
do you think it's normal for a prime minister to say some terrorist or martyrs in the world?
We have to factor in which country he represents, and he's the prime minister of which country. So,
Understood, sir.
when you put that in perspective, everything is normal.
Okay, thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot for sharing your thoughts uh,
Mhm.
with us very openly.